What's up? What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. You already know the deal. You know the routine. You know the deal. You know the routine. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button before we even get things started. Before we even get things started, shout out to the early bird squad, those making it in bright and early. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Going to be talking about the whole Candace Owens situation. It came across my timeline that Steven Crowder got a divorce. That really wasn't news to me. People get divorces all the time. Every day we sit here in this space, we talk about how 50% of marriages end in divorce. It's not that big of a deal. Steven Crowder getting a divorce. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It was some manosphere isms and schisms kind of embedded into his announcement, and we'll get into that. How he used the type of rhetoric where he said it didn't work out because, well, I picked wrong. But he said, and he also said that he wanted to continue in the marriage. She wanted to end it. So we always talk about 80% of the women in divorces. He said it was no cheating, no abuse, nothing crazy like that. She just wanted out shortly after they had twins. I don't even think the kids are two. She wanted out. So there are some manosphere isms and schisms in there, but what's running deeper in the whole thing to me, is that Candace Owens got roped into it. And when Steven Crowder left the company, so to speak, or had a fallout with the company, he didn't want to sign one of those 360 deals, and he was kind of out in the company, so to speak. Candace Owens back then made a veiled threat to him to basically, you need to shut up talking about the Daily Wire. You need to shut up talking about that, or I'm going to put out some of your business. Back then, listening to it, you wouldn't know what she was talking about. But now that it's all going full circle, because she was speaking in code, now that it's going full circle, you can see that she was on the air making threats. And then when she was trying to say that she wasn't making those threats, she roped around and ended up admitting that she was making those threats. She basically lied. And the whole works. So she was lying and threatening this man and charging this man up and all kind of stuff. It was bad. But we're about to get into it. We're about to break that down. We're about to break down a number of things pertaining to this story. So strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's going on? What's up, everybody? Shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early, who drop a comment, hopefully a like, hopefully a like before we even get things started. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Do appreciate each and every one of you. About to get this thing started today. Where we at? .net I crossing that T. RM, check your email. Let's go. All right, let's go. Shout out to the early bird squad. Those of you that make it in bright and early. LB Crypto in the building. It says I'm on good behavior today. Yeah, you was clowning. Yeah, we got some criticism of Jason Black over here, namely because he got his criticism of the Black Manosphere, and I have issues with people who essentially do Black Manosphere type content. He's an OG in the game. I think we've been doing this probably as long as Tommy Sotomayor. So, I mean, it's not like he stole somebody's swag or anything like that. Maybe he stole Tommy's. Who knows? I don't know. But he does this kind of content. But when you do the similar content, like he does content similar to how Kevin Samuels was doing, mixed with some social commentary on current events, mixed with some political, mixed with some basically anything that we talk about in the Black Manosphere, he does content like that. So when you do content similar, like it annoys me when somebody is just clearly doing the derogation of competitors. They're clearly just trying to take shots at people they view as competitors and criticizing them for doing the same type of content that they're doing. And he charged us up real bad with the whole Pearl thing. So yeah, we got an issue with him, but that don't mean we want him doxxed. If you want to keep his anonymity, I think I said that word right. If he wants to stay, not disclose who he is, show his face, and all of that, that's fine. He's welcome to do that. I ain't tripping. Now, if he was doxing, and somebody, and I ain't even about to go there. But no, I do not condone or advocate for anybody being doxed. I do not condone or advocate for anybody being doxed. But anyway, so yeah, you was on some bad behavior, typing in all caps, dox Jason Black in the chat room. That wasn't cool. But he says, LOL, please hit the like button and put some respect on the super chat. Let's go. Absolutely. Sun is hot. Ron in the building says in the building. Sir Jack Mehoff, KBE in the building. Shout out to you, good gentleman. Shout out to you. Says, sounds like the mask came off and she unleashed her inner Daggle. See, to me, the mask was it already okay. It was already off in this sense. Her biggest claim to fame. What is her biggest claim to fame? Yes, she's good at spitting out the conservative talking points and doing good Ben Shapiro style clapbacks. But the fact of the matter is, when your claim to fame as a woman is essentially arguing with people on the internet, it's not that far-fetched that you're going to play dirty in an argument. You know, maybe it's possible that, okay, she could have kept it 100% clean 100% of the time. But to me, there's always been an element of her where I mean, look, it's just, okay. It's probably hard to find because I think she talked to Cornel West a bunch of times. But she was in an argument, a debate back and forth with Cornel West. And bear in mind, this man is old enough to be her granddaddy. And she just talking to him just wild. Not blatantly disrespectful, but just like, damn. It's like, you know, like there's certain people that I speak to in this. Hell, when I talk to BGS in this space and I disagree with BGS, it's a respectful disagreement, and I ended in a question to prompt him to give an answer, understanding that I might learn. So BGS may teach me something. Like, I give BGS that type of respect. Now, if he just say some wild shit, I'm gonna tell him I disagree if I think he said some wild stuff, but he got that kind of respect where I ain't about to be just, you know, just going ham for no reason. You know, it's just certain decorum and respect. But she just came at it like, you know, like she was talking to Cornel West, like, you know, like she was talking to like somebody, like some 19-year-old on a college campus who's smug and high off the modern woke agenda and all of that, and asking some pointed question that he got from his feminist sociology teacher. He showed up in purple hair and riding on a question that he got from the woman studies class, and she say something like that to Candace Owens, or he say something like that to Candace Owens, and she clap back and barking. I mean, I've seen her clap back and bark at Cornel West all the same. So I mean, so in that sense, I'm saying that she fits in the category. Okay, if you're a conservative black man and you look at Candace Owens, or if you're just a conservative man and you look at Candace Owens, you would automatically have to see her as a combative woman, but she's batting for you, so you're okay with it. That's the honest way to look at her. She's a witty, slick-tongued, combative woman who I do think is batting for some good causes. Well, I think is batting for some good causes, but that doesn't change the fact that she's vicious with that tongue. That don't change that fact. But Son is Hot Raw in the building says, well, she didn't go Sista-Hood on the black men yet, so the jury's still out. Okay, that's an interesting point. She kind of did on Tory Lanez, but that was she kind of did on Tory Lanez. But shout out to Sir Jack Meehaw. Let me shout out a few more people before we get this thing going. Let me shout out a few more people. Anthony Reed in the building. Lithium 19 in the building. American Negro in the building. It's interesting you don't know why your wrench is missing. Interesting that you don't know that. It's missing for a reason. Vince Lindsay in the building. Shout out to you. Emin Perry in the building. Shout out to you. Says Owens always been Sisterhood. He sees it. Hoop Jargon in the building. Shout out to you. Dark Knight Mentality in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Jackie Jack in the building. Of course, RM is in the building. Says, that's why I speak to Sir OGJ Speed the way I do. I was taught to respect my elders and... Okay, I can't even see what that says. And betters. Elders and betters. I don't know what betters are. I don't know what you mean by betters. That's a interesting term. Interesting term. But all right, shout out to everybody in the building. I'll read one more before I get into it. Dark Knight Mentality in the building says, being an elder doesn't necessarily mean they are better. Yeah, that's why I was confused by that word better. That's fine line you have to walk, RM. Yeah, I was confused by that. Elders and betters. What are... Explain the betters part. There are people that I do look at as better. Like there are people that do a lot of things, if not damn near everything, better than me. I give them that respect. That the whole thing. Hey, he's a better man than me. There are some people who get that kind of respect. What does elders and betters mean? People who are older and more important. You should respect your elders and betters. Yeah, the confusion is we understand what elders, we understand that somebody is older and have more lived experience. And there's certain, even if you disagree, there's still a certain amount of respect line you don't cross with an elder. There's still a certain amount of respect line. Some people don't give a damn about that, but I do. There's a certain amount of respect line. It's a disrespect line that I won't cross with an elder. Don't mean I'm gonna be a doormat, but I'm just not gonna be disrespectful. I just peacefully walk away, But the term betters, you're better. I don't know what that means. A better. That's what people confuse about. People get elders. Explain better, because that's like literally a new one on me. That is a new one on me. That is a new one on me. But all right. Let's get into it. Let me pull up a thing or two. Should have it ready to go, but we're about to get into this. We're going to start out quite simple. Going to start out quite simple. R.I.P. to Jerry Springer. I just found that out right before the show started, that Jerry Springer died. Somebody look up and say in the chat how old he was while I pull up the show related material, that I got to pull up. But somebody look it up. Somebody look it up. How old was Jerry when he died? And I kind of hope, but don't hope. I kind of hope they don't be a crowd of people outside at his funeral chanting Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. But you know people going to be chanting Jerry, Jerry, Jerry at the man's funeral, like he about to get up and host a fight or something. Like you know that's going to happen. You know that's going to. I hope it don't happen, but it will happen. That man was 79. I don't know what he was doing before the Jerry Springer show, but let's think about that. Jerry Springer show, that was 30, had to be about 30 years ago. No, 25. 20. I don't know what he's doing before the Jerry Springer show took off, but if he wasn't doing that much, if he wasn't, put it like this, I'm drawing parallels here. So he was somebody like Kevin Samuels made it big into his early 50s. Made it into his early 50s and got big. His dreams finally came true. All right. Some could argue he wouldn't even high value until his show blew up. Okay, so yeah, so what? Either way it go, he made it. He made it there. He died, but he didn't make it until he was 52 years old. Until he was in his early 50s, and a lot of people look at that. A lot of people, you know, they, and I understand it's some things that need to get put in perspective. There are some things that legitimately need to get put in perspective when we think about life. Like some people spend their whole life trying to make it. They spend their whole life trying to make it, and they may not actually make it. They may not actually make it until they're in their well into their early or mid 50s. And when I do the math, if Jerry Springer just died today at 79, that means when the Jerry Springer show took off, that he was in his 50s, probably mid 50s before he finally made it. Like people be making it at 55. Now, unfortunately, some people die shortly after. In the case of Kevin Samuels, but look at somebody like Jerry Springer. Like, damn, he made it. He made it big at like 55, and then got to, you know, live 25 years being successful, being rich. Kevin Samuels made it big at 52 or so. Only got to live like a year and a half, maybe 2 years clean, being truly successful. It's like you get to that spot, you chase that dream, you finally get it. When you spent your whole life chasing it, you finally get it. You don't even know how much time you got left. You know, that's it's puzzling, it's crazy, it's heartbreaking, it's all that all in one, and it's a triumph story. But it's still like, damn, some people die right after they make it. But Jerry Springer, made it at 55 and then got to live 25 years after. So yeah, that's wild. That's wild. R.I.P. R.I.P. Yeah. Now that is a white person who capitalized off black dysfunction. Since that's what they charging Pearl up with. That's what it actually looked like. When you hosting fights every morning, that's capitalizing off of black dystopia. It was white people fighting on there too, but still, it's yeah. He capitalized off some black dysfunction. Salty Balls in the building. Shout out to Salty Balls, one of my biggest supporters, coming through bright and early, right top of the morning, getting it started out right with the first super chat. Thank you for putting 5 on it. He says, good. He says, good day, brothers. Beware of thine she heathenry. She heathenry. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. I got Salty Balls and Jack Mehoff. Salty Balls and Sir Jack Mehoff. Y'all just doing me wrong. Jerry was a former Cincinnati admiral and was briefly mayor of Cincinnati. He was also a journalist. Okay, so he had He had a steady career. Well, a changing career if he was all of that. Cincinnati Admiral. What is that? Is that like one of the old football teams when they played with the leather helmet? Like, what is that what that is? And was briefly mayor of Cincinnati. He was also a journalist. Well, if he was mayor of Cincinnati, I don't know what mayors make, but if you're a mayor, I'm assuming you're doing well financially and also. Oh, that's Aderman. I'm sorry. I got to quit. Yeah. Cincinnati Aderman. I still don't know what an Aderman is. That still sounds like a football team to me. Alderman. Okay, yeah, I need glasses. That looks like an eye. Aderman. Okay, I still don't know what an Aderman is. I still don't know what an Aderman is. I get that that's a political position of some sort. I think RM is helping me in the back. Hold on. Alderman. Okay. Alderman. Alderman. That's what it is. And it's beneath a councilman. That's what it is. Okay. So some political position beneath a councilman. Okay. Thank you. Or an elected member of a municipal council. Uh-huh. I get it. Okay. And RM is telling me to get contacts. No, I would do glasses before contacts. I don't like wearing nothing on my face, but I for damn sure is not about to be sitting here touching my eyeball every day. Like, hell no. But for shits and giggles, hold on. I got some glasses here. They not my glasses. Hold on. Give me a second. For shits and giggles, I'll give you out a teaser trailer of how goofy I'm going to look sitting up here with glasses. Hold on. Do y'all want to see this? Ooh, they foggy as hell. So I look goofy as hell with glasses on. keep the glasses or lose them. And then look at the glare. The glare right on my eyes. Hold on. The glare is right over my eyeballs. Y'all want to see this every day? These ain't even my glasses. These ain't. These is something that these are like some just for play glasses. I don't even know where these came from. These some of them Walmart glasses. Them glasses you buy off the rack at Walmart. So now. But all right, Jerry Springer had a career before he blew up. These glasses don't work. Okay, let me see the reviews on the glasses. Let me see the reviews on the glasses. Hold on. They're not gonna tell you, like, but you'll be able to read the damn super chats though. He says, "What in the Clark Kent is this?" Educated lane. Keep them. This will appeal to a whole new demographic. The glasses gonna appeal to a new demographic. Jackie said the glasses work. He said, who else? Let me see any more glasses reviews before I get into the show. He said, you can get different frames. It's Medium Man. That's somebody's channel. Jackie Jack got a glasses fetish. Get anti-reflection lenses. Okay. Not those frames. Okay. All right. But these ain't it. Hold on, where they at? Damn, I lost them that fast. These ain't it. These if I do get glasses, these won't be it. These won't be it. But I don't know. I can't see nothing in these. This is actually worse. This is actually worse. But we'll get those good librarian girls. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. But all right, let me get into it. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new here. All right. We're about to get into it. But thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the context and a little backstory on Jerry Springer. All right, gave him a couple flowers. All right, let's move on. But all right. So we're about to get into this. This is Steven Crowder just doing an initial announcement of his divorce that leads into a situation with Candace Owens where she basically, in my opinion, took the mask off, went full sisterhood. But here's the deal. Let's go.
Hey, we'll be on with your regular programming and Nick DiPaolo in third chair in a little bit, but needed to take a moment here to address some issues out there that are circulating. It's never fun, but well, I guess let me be clear here. I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
Notice that he's speaking manosphere isms and schisms, He's saying that it was, not my choice. My then wife decided she just didn't want to be married anymore. He's saying it was no abuse. It was no cheating. She just up and decided she didn't want to be married anymore. That's what happened. And he says in the state of Texas, it's just that simple. In the state of Texas, it's just that damn simple that she could just up and decide, don't want to be married no more. He's basically making this is a conservative white man making a subtle, we got to get rid of no fault divorce argument. That's essentially what that is. She's not happy. She doesn't feel heard. So she's going to break up a family after they just had two twins who aren't even 2 years old yet. That's something that we talk about. That is something that we talk about. One kid theorized, and this is speculation. This part is completely speculation. But whenever a divorce happens right after the kids were born, in my mind, in my theory, this is how I theorize this, she knew she wanted a divorce before the kids. Because if the kids aren't even 2 yet, but it was filed in 2021 and it just went final fairly recently, then yeah, I would say she knew she wanted a divorce before the kids, but she made sure she got the kids before she left. That's wild. Like, we talk about modern women. We talk about, like, we could see the writing on the wall easily with Brittany Renner, who, somebody like that get knocked up by the damn PJ Washington. I forgot the name. I'm forgetting basketball players' names. I'm getting old. I don't even remember anybody no more. I don't even know these people's names. But PJ Washington. Confirm I got the name right in the chat room, since y'all like correcting me so much. But we can see the writing on the wall, her getting pregnant by him and then just bailing and high stepping up out of there, right after she got the baby. We can see that. We don't see it. We don't see it. We don't analyze it like that, I should say. We don't analyze it like that when we look at married conservative white women. But yeah, I mean, unless it was some cheating or abuse or this or that, I mean, he's on TV wording it that way. Like, put it like this: if he was cheating on her, or if he was abusing her, he was doing something, he would tread carefully. But he's basically just looking in the camera, blaming her, because he wouldn't want his cheating or abuse to come out. So he would take accountability and responsibility. But if he's willing to put it on her in front of everybody, that tells you that he ain't got nothing to hide. That tells you that he's a man with nothing to hide, because he's putting it on her publicly and saying she just didn't want to be married anymore. That's it. She just flat out did not want to be married anymore. He's making it that plain. He's making it that simple. And when so it's the fact that he's willing to do that, the fact that he's willing to make it that plain and that simple, and say that she just decided she didn't want to get married in the state of Texas, you are allowed to just leave into marriage at any moment for any reason. No questions asked. Just sign the paperwork. We done. I'm taking some stuff with me. The kids and some money and some property and some investments and all kind of other stuff. But just sign the paperwork. We done. All right. That's how it worked. That's what they allowed to do. That's how it worked. That's what they allowed to do. But the mere fact that I won't say throwing her under the bus, but I think he's just telling the truth that she just ended it because she didn't want to be married. I think the fact that that's the case, it's saying a lot. It's saying it's a lot happening here that lines up with the type of stuff that we talk about. But again, the last thing I'll say before I roll the Not So Beautiful Being footage is, again, we see the writing on the wall when somebody like Brittany Renner get pregnant by a basketball player and then bail when the baby not even old enough to lift his head on his own. We see what it is right there. We don't see what it is when a conservative white woman, who I don't know how long they've been married, when a conservative white woman decide to dip, when the kid's not even 2 years old yet, and she signed, and the divorce was filed in 2021 and it's over by 2023. That means that it's a strong chance that she knew she wanted to divorce him before she got pregnant by him, which means it's a strong chance that she got pregnant by him. Okay, 10 years married. Thank you. So that means they was married 10 years, no kids. Somewhere along the way, she knew she wanted to leave. Let me get these babies out. Let me get pregnant first. Let me birth these babies. Okay, now let's get the paperwork done. Now let me leave you. Like, it's hard to look at this and not draw that conclusion that that's what's happening. And the fact that he's explaining it the way he's explaining it sort of says that, yeah, that's what's happening.
It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible. But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter. In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it, period. So for well over a year.
Man, like I said, it's a lot of manosphere isms and schisms coming out of his mouth.
Well over a year, in the best interest, as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep
Y'all remember my quote? Did he leave you and the kids, or did you leave him and take the kids with you? Y'all remember that quote? And a lot of these divorces, that's what happens. And a lot of breaking up of families, that's what happens. In a lot of situations where it wasn't even a marriage, just two people was together and they got pregnant, and that's what happens. All right. That just look like the separation, the breakdown in the family structure in America, and blah, 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 blah. All of that, yeah, is blamed on men. But the $1 million question, did he leave you and the kids, or did you leave him and take the kids with you? That's exactly what he's explaining. She left him and took the kids with her. But the broken family, the broken home is his fault.
This issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you. legal jargon. Now, in all this, one thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless, completely without fault. And so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and physically, to do so. Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long, many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar...
Okay, now listen, okay, let me just say this. Steven Crowder is not wrong in nothing here, so I'm not criticizing him. But your children's safety, keeping it private, and that doesn't necessarily affect the safety of your children. Or I like I hate to even go there. He's using his children as when somebody does that, they're using their children as a human shield to try to ward off people from attacking or saying anything bad or coming at him and his family. Like the safety of your children is not at stake here. Like, put it like this: if they were older, like in middle school or high school, and he's a public figure, and then everybody knows that his mom and dad is going through a divorce, they may get teased or picked on and bullied at school, or end up getting into some fights or something like that. But your kids aren't even in daycare. I mean, so yeah, he's using the kids as a human shield right there. That's the only flag on the play with him. Other than that, the man done nothing wrong. It's just he's trying to use the kids as a human shield to just get less people to come at him. You know, for the safety of my children, don't say anything bad about me on the internet. Like, no, that's not necessarily how it works. You know, you got your kids are still in diapers. they're fine, they're safe. But all right.
Familiar with the idea of extortion?
Oh,
then
yeah,
you know
back
the
it up. This is important.
Familiar.
This is an important part.
The safety of
this is where Candace Owens comes in once he got past that part.
My children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Steven has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do...
Just for context, this clip of Candace Owens, this is from January early this year. When he was leaving the company or had an issue or a fallout or some contract dispute with the company. They was trying to put the Just Pearly Things 360. Well, hold on. Wait, time out real quick. Hold on. Time out. Yes. Had to take care of something. Okay. They was trying to put the Just Pearly Things 360 deal on him, and he didn't want to take it. He called out the company, you know. I thought it was a little too much to do about nothing because, I mean, companies offer people deals. Sometimes it's a good deal. Sometimes it's a bad deal. Sometimes you don't like it. Sometimes you do like it. Sometimes you sign that bad deal because making that money from that bad deal is better than the no money that you were making before the bad deal. So sometimes you take the bad deal. Sometimes you counter offer. Sometimes they say yes. Sometimes they say no. That's business. So I wasn't really tripping about that. That's why I didn't cover that. And that's why I don't even know the details of that. All I know is that he kind of outed the company saying that they're trying to get people to sign bad deals. And Candace Owens is a company girl. And, the term company man, I guess company woman. She's a company woman and she defended the company. And he's saying that she let out a veiled threat to him to basically shut up trash in the Daily Wire, or I'm going to put it out there that you going through this divorce situation. I'm going to put your personal business out there if you don't shut up. So he's playing this tape. He's playing a tape from January to show that she did that. And after he did this, Candace Owens then, recently, as hell, less than 24 hours, went on her podcast and then responded to this. But this is why he's playing that clip. The clip of her doing what he considered to be a threat that she was making back in January when he had a fallout with the company over a contract dispute.
You didn't all guess immediately.
Stephen has a lot going on. I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to
Now listen to how petty that was. He has a lot going on in his life. And people don't do stuff like this. And the stuff like this is out the bad 360 pearly things contract that they was trying to offer them. People don't do stuff like that unless they have a lot going on in their personal life. It's like, so she's shading. You know, Candace Owens, you got to put your shades on when Candace Owens talking sometimes.
For my audience and everybody, there's a lot going on, and that should be clear because people thought.
You didn't all guess immediately.
Stephen has a lot going on. I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Stephen purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances, that this will not to condemn him, but to pray for him.
Now, did you catch all that? She's saying, just pray for this person that I might expose if he say something else.
Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Stephen purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
No, when she say, if I feel maybe it's not in my place to say more than that, she's saying maybe it's not in my place to say specifically what he's going through in his life. And then she goes on to say that if I need to make further defense, I may say something. By further defense, she means further defense of the Daily Wire. I will say something about the divorce that you're going through, that you're trying to keep quiet. Like that's literally the cold talk that she's saying. She's saying, and keep in mind, without nobody knowing that he's going through a divorce, nobody knows what she's talking about here. Nobody knows what she's talking about here. But when the full context is that this man is going through a divorce, now you understand, and she's saying all of this while he's publicly bashing the company Daily Wire. She's basically saying, if I need to make further defense of the Daily Wire, I may disclose that private information that you don't want out there. That's what she's cold talking and saying to him. She's cold talking and saying that to him. So she's making coded, cryptic threats over the internet, like, nigga, watch your mouth, or I'm gonna let everybody know that shit that you don't want them to know. Like, like that's legit what she's doing, while smuggling in some Christianity, the Bible, and pray for him type shit. It's like, damn. It's like, damn, really?
Said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right, or if it is my Stephen purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
All my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats.
All right, give me 1 second. All right, so he's saying that there was that she's saying that there was things behind the scenes, or you're saying that there was things behind the scenes, threats and whatnot that was made behind the scenes. Obviously, you can't prove that, but you can prove the veiled threat on the internet. If she did that on the internet as a public threat display, basically that's just basically communicating with you that yes, I have the capacity to out these things. And it's kind of fucked up to connect his contract dispute with the company to his divorce. Like those two things are not connected. You know, if I'm going through a divorce, but I also have a job and there's also a contract dispute where I don't think I'm getting the best of deals, those two things are not connected. Those two things are just not connected. But she's trying to make them connected, as that's the reason why he's going after or he's publicly criticizing the company that he worked for, to try to connect those things. It doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense if you're trying to basically say that, oh, he's crazy and he's going through and he's just lashing out. He's a kid throwing a temper tantrum. Don't pay him no mind. It's like, so it was some cryptic bullshit. It was some cryptic bullshit, to put it mildly. It was blackmail, or he called it extortion. He called it extortion. Well, to be fair, he didn't exactly say she's extorting me. He says that if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, you understand the feeling that he has. He didn't exactly say that it was full-blown extortion, but it was an attempt to use some information in order to try to keep somebody quiet about something. Blackmail is probably the right word. Blackmail is probably the right word. Who said that in the chat room? Genius said it in the chat room. That's probably the right word, blackmail. That is probably the right word. Now, here we go, Candace Owens. This is a 10-minute clip. It's probably midway through it. Well, I mean, this whole thing is kind of worthwhile. This whole thing is kind of worthwhile. So we'll see. Don't got it exactly time-stamped where I need it, but this is her response to it. Bring up the whatever already sent super chats. Bring those up. Let me get to the super chats before I dig into this. I think this was the only one. West M in the building says this proves that Ed was right. Even in a red state, a conservative woman will use will use liberal laws to gain power. She graduated after 10 years. I don't know what that means. She graduated after 10 years. I don't know what they got to do anything. What you mean with that? But the rest of what you said is absolutely 100% correct. The rest of what you said is absolutely 100% correct. The conservative woman will use the liberal laws to her own benefit. And then that begs the question that even though we can say, yeah, they voted for Trump at a high rate, they vote for the Conservative Party at a high rate. Can we really truly say that? You know, it's like, what do we do with that information? They do vote for Trump at a high. They vote for Trump over there, but they're in the meantime going to use these laws. It's almost like this stuff ain't right, so I'm going to vote for the party that just idealistically would lean more towards patriarchy. However, if they're going to put some matriarchy stuff on the books, don't think I'm not going to eat at that table if the table is there. y'all got to remove that table. Y'all got to remove it if you don't want me eating at it. That's basically where they at with it. But let's go ahead and get into this. Let's get into it.
Man with his following would be stupid. So first up, let's talk about Steven Crowder. A lot of you guys have probably seen his live stream this morning where he brings me up.
Steven Crowder small on the screen because it's Candace Owens, because it's a woman. I will cede the floor and make myself smaller and her bigger because I figured I might want to look at her. Somebody in the chat room said Candace Owens could still get it, and so I'm going to make myself smaller and make her bigger. I figured I want to look at her other than me, but all right.
So we're going to have to respond to that, obviously, because he makes some pretty heavy implications and insinuations in his video that are so patently false that it's shocking to me that a man with his following would be stupid enough to put this onto a platform. So let's first
Hold on. She is average at best. I don't want, sometimes some people will overrate her, but I mean, you said no, she's not average at best. Sir Jack Mehoff, you are incorrect on that. She is not average. She's above. She's definitely above average. She's definitely above average. Like, cut it out. You saying she's average at best? No. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Archer J, I see what you're saying there. You're saying I can't hold on. Let me pull that one up. That's a worthwhile one to pull on the screen. Hold on. Let's get Archer J's comment on the screen. Says, I can't believe you guys are quoting Edward Anderson's points. Can't believe you guys are quoting Edward Anderson's points. Can only be made by men who get the most women. This is ridiculous. That was a throwback to a conversation that was had. That was a throwback to a conversation that was had when somebody was giving a full court press of criticism of Edward Anderson, but it was no refuting of any point that Edward Anderson made. When you take away all the fluff and the feathers, basically, he don't like the way Edward Anderson look or sound, therefore his points are invalid. And I say it's men who be lurking around this space. I don't even consider them in this space or in the manosphere, but it's people who lurk around it, who do be on some flat out if what a man says is valid and substantiated, not on his merits, but is valid and substantiated and should be accepted and respected based off whether or not women find this guy attractive or not. It's basically using the female standards of assessing whether or not what a guy is saying is accurate. It's like dudes judge what man is making the most sense by the same way, shape, and standard that that women do. That is a crazy thing to me. That is a crazy thing to me. But anyway, shout out to Archer J. I did have to read that one. But all right, let's roll.
First back this up in case you don't know who Steven Crowder is. It's totally plausible. He sort of lives on the internet. Steven Crowder is somebody who has a show.
Damn it, y'all keep interrupting. Okay, Demactor Tucker says she's a 7, but she's a divester, so that drops her to a 6. I'm careful with the term divester, because the divester is not even a swirler. A swirler based off the optics of their rhetoric coming from Crystal and Karazin. It's just, black woman, increase your dating options, open up your options, and if you happen to meet someone of a different race that treats you right and celebrates you instead of tolerates you, then go be with him and be happy. That's the swirler. The divester is, I like watching you niggas get beat by the police. That's so you see how it's a different crowd. It's some overlap. But it's a difference between the swirler. It's a difference between the person who just coincidentally, okay, on one hand, there's a person who just coincidentally just went out and they met somebody of a different race and they hit it off and hey, and they still together. That's one thing. Then it's the swirler who's doing it from an ideological standpoint, but not as much hate. Then it's the divester that's full on abort black male babies, and I get off on watching, like they literally said that they get off watching videos of the police beating people up, beating up black men, so it's and the avatar of the person, the divested zealot, I think the name is, with the black man hanging from the tree with the black woman on the other branch of the same tree swinging on the swing. That's the extreme. Okay, I'm not going to call Candace Owens a divester. Swirler, yeah. I think it's I think it's ideological with her. I think she understands that her optics, that her optics is being with a white man gives her certain optics and status, I think. So yeah, swirler, yes. Divester, no. It is a difference. It is a delineation between somebody who just happened to meet somebody of a different race versus somebody who ideologically chose somebody of a different race versus somebody who get off on seeing a black man get killed by the police. Those are different people. Those are different people. Just wanted to correct that. Now let's move on.
Show called Louder with Crowder, who had something very terrible happen to him at the end of last year. The Daily Wire came to him with a $50 million term sheet. He was offered $50 million. I know, horrible, terrible. He was so upset by this that he then decided to do a video in which he calls out essentially all of the Daily Wire hosts, myself included, for accepting slave-like contracts. These were the very heavy implications of that video, that his followers needed to stop Big Con, talking about how we are all existing and we're kowtowing. And of course, we responded forcefully to this because it's simply not true. The idea that I'm somehow in bed with big tech or that I'm dishonest in what I do simply because we didn't accept, I guess, his counter offer to the $50 million contract is pointedly ridiculous. Now, why are we talking about him again? Well,
now again, real quick. I didn't really care. I didn't pay that much attention to Crowder and his complaints because it was very Sarah Garvey-esque. And what I mean by that is somebody offered you a deal. You don't like the deal. You don't have to take the deal. I think he was trying to argue that all the Ben Shapiro's and Candace Owens of the world, when they sign that deal, they're basically sold out. That person can control what they say. But they seem like they say pretty much whatever they want to say. So I think it was probably much to do about nothing. So I wouldn't really with him on that. You know, like Jason Whitlock does that. He tries to say that, you know, I think he's had some criticism of Ben Shapiro, how they got to tote the line on certain things. And, you know, it's basically, honestly, I'll compare it to what goes on in the manosphere, where there are some people who tries to be red. I call it red pill squared. Y'all ain't drawing a hard enough line. Y'all ain't red pill enough. So he's basically trying to say that y'all ain't free speech conservative enough when you sign that contract. Once you sign, because I've literally heard somebody say that once somebody show their face, you shouldn't trust them. They say that in the sphere. Once somebody show their face, you can't trust them. Now they can't say whatever they want to say. They can't speak freely because their face and their name is attached to it now. So it's, yeah, I'm not necessarily feeling that. I think some people can show their face and their name, their government name, and stand on their square and sign the 360 deal and make money off of it. I think all of those things are possible. So I think that he was reaching on that. Even though I'm with him on this one, the thing that's the initial genesis of it, I wasn't necessarily with him because, you know, hey, a deal is a deal is a deal. If you don't like it, don't sign it. You don't got to call out the people that signed it. They signed it. You didn't sign it, then oh well. Do your own thing. Go solo. It's like you're leaving the company. You don't got to try to burn it to the ground on your way out the door. Again, that's another parallel with some shit that happens in this space, but we that's a whole nother story. But all right.
When in closing back in January, I essentially said that we were no longer going to talk about Steven Crowder, and I instead offered that people should pray for him because obviously when a man does something like that, he is broken. You don't do something like that to your friends unless there is something going on in your personal life.
And again, this is where she's trying to spin some nonsense, and she's trying to connect his divorce to him calling out that company. He can call out that company all he wants. I don't care about the merits of it. I kind of disagree with the merits of it, but he can call out a company. She's connecting it to he's going through a divorce, and that's why he's doing it. He's going through a divorce, and that's why he's doing it. Now that I think about it, maybe he know he about to get cut in half, so you got to be careful about the deal that he signed. Maybe that's what it was. But either way it go, he do got right to call it out. You don't like the deal, don't sign the deal, do your own thing, be an independent entity, independent media. But either way it go, she's I'm not necessarily feeling what she's doing, trying to say that he's, you know, you don't do this to your friends unless you're going through something in your personal life. So she's essentially doubling down. I don't want to get ahead of the clip. So I'm just going to let it play.
Well, Steven Crowder announced this morning that he is going through a divorce, and I want to show you bits of that video. Take a listen.
But needed to take a moment here to address some issues out there that are circulating. It's never fun, but well, I guess let me be clear here. I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on.
I'm going to skip some of this because we saw it. So we really just need her commentary. We already saw this. So I'm gonna skip some of it.
What has increasingly...
I'll recap it real quick. But I said it was 250 people in here. So some people may not have seen this. I'll recap what he said. He basically saying his wife is divorcing him, and that's that. His wife is leaving. He want to stay married. She want to leave. She's leaving shortly after they just had 2 twins. They've been married 10 years. They had 2 twins, and then she left. And that's just that. And he said the laws allow it. That's just that. He said it was some manosphere isms and schisms in there. I probably should play it. Because there's new people in here. I'll play it.
It's been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no...
Yeah, Charles Merchant. I'm not happy. I don't feel that I'm being heard. Yeah, it was one of those.
No, this was not my choice.
Okay, so in the open, you get it. Steven Crowder is a victim. Once again, he's always a martyr for his belief. He's always a victim. And this time, it's the proverbial boot on the neck. He's literally George Floyd. So the idea here is you need to feel really bad for Steven Crowder right away because he's got a boot on his neck. Let's see what else he said.
So if you're familiar with the idea...
A lot could be said there, but I'm just going to let it play. A lot could be said there, but I am just going to let it play.
Extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Steven has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. You know, Steven purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. You know, maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Again, and if I feel that in further defense, she means in further defense of the Daily Wire, because at that time, January 24th of this year, he was criticizing the Daily Wire. She's a company woman. She says, if I feel in further defense of the Daily Wire that certain things may need to be said, those certain things need to be said is that he's going through a divorce that he's trying to keep secret, then I will, she's basically saying, then I will give my audience the necessary context with that. So she's basically saying that if need be, if you don't shut up, I'm going to expose that you're going through a divorce that you're trying to keep quiet. Like that was no other way to look at that as she's blackmailing, she's threatening to put out some of his personal private information that he deliberately is trying to keep secret. She's threatening to do that if you don't shut up, nigga. Okay, she didn't say nigga, but still, y'all get it.
All my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find...
Yeah, RM, that weaponizing Christianity is a flagrant foul. You can't threat somebody and sprinkle some Jesus dust over it. Like, no, you threatening a man. I'm, sure somewhere in the Bible it says thou shalt not threat somebody over some petty shit because you don't like them because they did something. Or I'm sure it's in there. Y'all read it. All right, cool. Let's go.
Find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes.
So much that I want to say here. First and foremost, if you're a person that watches his show, how do you not see that he is so obviously acting and that he is a very bad actor? Do you feel bad for him when he says that? When he says, if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, Well, if you are familiar with the idea of extortion, you should realize that that video that he just showed of me wasn't that. Nobody threatened him. Nobody made demands behind closed doors. His insinuation that I knew about his divorce before he decided to attack the Daily Wire is a pointed lie. Let me tell you what.
All right. She said that it was a lie. Yeah, I got to keep that in mind. She said that it was a lie that she knew about his divorce. That's what she said. Now, he was careful in how he worded it. He didn't say Candace Owens extorted me. He said, if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, you understand the feeling. He said it just feels like extortion. Blackmail is probably the more accurate word, but you are extorting somebody. Hold on, let's make sure let's make sure we're accurate here. We care about accuracy, so we got to Google the exact definition. I thought I knew the definition going in. We're going to Google extortion. Going to Google extortion, the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. Okay, she didn't attain anything through threats. So no, I don't think this falls under. Okay, what is an example of extortion? The crime of extortion is defined to exclude lawful bargaining. To exclude lawful bargaining processes. There was some lawful bargaining processes going on there, in the sense that it's basically saying, if you don't say anything bad about the Daily Wire, I won't put out the information about your divorce. Okay. A union official may threaten to call a strike for higher wages. Yeah, sounding kind of extortion-y. It said a union official may threaten to call a strike if y'all don't increase those wages. I'm threatening to put out the information that you're going through this divorce that you want to keep private if you don't shut up about the Daily Wire. That's sounding kind of extortion-y. Such threats are criminal only if used to obtain money. Okay, so here, now this is where it's not criminal. It says such threats are criminal only if used to obtain money or property for the personal gain of the actor. So that's why it wasn't it wasn't criminal. And that's why he uses words carefully. If you're familiar with the idea of extortion, you understand the feeling. So he's saying it felt like extortion, which based off with the way that they explain it, when I typed in what is an example of extortion, that is what she did. It just wasn't criminal extortion because she didn't use it to try to obtain money or property or but for okay. Well, hold on. It didn't use it to obtain money or property for the personal gain of the actor. Yeah. So it wasn't criminal extortion. But it does fall loosely into the definition. It does fall loosely into the definition. All right. Let's get back into it.
What actually went on behind the scenes. Steven Crowder on election night was our friend. He was on the backstage with all of us, laughing, having a great time. He even sent me a retrospectively very flirty message thereafter on Instagram about how nice I looked on election night, even though I didn't respond to it.
Uh-oh, that's some lightweight diet me too. Don't charge him up with trying to holler. Don't charge him up with trying to holler at you. That's some lightweight diet me too. You know? Oh man. All right. We ain't gonna trip too much about that one because if she said that he tried to do something criminal, if she put a little splash of sexual assault on it, then that would be bad. But it's petty. It's petty. All right. There's no reason to include. And by the way, hey, at the time this man was going through a divorce, if not already divorced. Well, Yeah. I guess you could say their conservative principles is wrong to shoot your shot at a married woman, but either way it go, it's no reason to put that out there. The fact that she would put this out there is more evidence that, yeah, you was on some blackmail extortion bullshit. Like the fact that you would put that out there, you can't put something like that out there and try to talk as if you also play dirt, as if you're above playing dirty. Like that's playing dirty. The Conqueror says, Bernard, you too nice, bro. I mean, look, she said he tried to holler. I mean, it's some petty shit. It's not, I mean, I said it's some lightweight Me Too. It ain't full blown Me Too if you just say somebody tried to holler. Now, if you try to say that somebody did something that's teetering on the line of some type of sexual assault in some kind of way, then yeah, then it is some Me Too. It is some Me Too stuff. But she just said she just said, you know, he sent a text message compliment. That's all. It's wrong. It's petty. You know, she could have kept that shit. Didn't nobody need to know that. But to try to put that out there, that's some bullshit. And she showed no evidence of it. So in that regard, one could use you could use the word Me Too only in the sense that an allegation was put out there without any evidence. And that's how women have always been able to get down on men. They didn't have to put any evidence out there. They just say the shit, and because they said it, believe all women. Therefore, so yes, that's why I say it's a lightweight diet Me Too, but there were no serious charges. That's why I say lightweight diet Me Too. There was no serious charges. I mean, there was no serious accusations. That's not that serious of an accusation, but it is an accusation. But it's an accusation of doing something perfectly legal. So, yeah. But it's Me Too. It's Me Too because it's an accusation without evidence that will make people look at him differently reputation-wise. So, yes, lightweight Me Too. Lightweight Me Too.
Thereafter, obviously, he attacked the Daily Wire. He decided to record his friend, Jeremy Boring, and to release the recording out of context to make it seem like Jeremy Boring knows that he's employing all of us like we're slaves, right? This is what Steven Crowder did. We had a right to respond forcefully to all of his claims. We all did that on our different platforms. And then I said to myself, just sitting there one day, why is he doing this? It's a very simple question and an obvious question that any person would ask. This is not normal behavior. It's very erratic to go from being friends with somebody, being with them on election night, laughing, having a great time, to suddenly wanting to ruin their entire company and launching Stop Big Con. It's bizarre behavior. I turned to my husband and I said, where's his wife in all of this? Isn't she so supposedly a Christian? I'm just thinking about the way that I talk about everything in my life with my husband. Every night I'm talking to him about what's going on at work. I thought to myself, where is Hillary Crowder in all of this? How did she not tell him not to do something this vicious and this disgusting? And then I said to my husband, I bet they're not even together. I logged on to Instagram and I found Hillary.
Now, keep in mind, she said she had no idea that any of this was going on. Yeah, saying she had no idea that any of this was going on. And then now she's explaining how she found out that it was all going on. So she basically caught herself in her own lie right here live on this is all in one shot.
Hillary Crowder's Instagram account, and I looked to see, and it turned out that she didn't follow Steven Crowder and that Steven Crowder didn't follow her. He didn't follow anybody in her family, and she wasn't following anybody in his family.
Now, keep in mind, this space with smaller channels, sometimes you can be hard up for a story. And so sometimes you may end up covering some petty shit, and sometimes that petty shit get more views. Okay. We're guilty of doing that. But isn't it interesting when Steven Crowder got like 5.9 million subscribers? She got like two channels with both of them got something in the area of 1.5 million. One of them probably trending towards 2 million or something like that. That they're on some petty, I looked at his woman's Instagram and she wasn't following him. Dun, dun, dun. Shit. It's like, It's like that's the petty shit in black YouTube that people be on. I expect that from the black YouTube niggosphere. Like that's the type of shit I expect there. These is multi-million dollars platform, multi-million subs, working for a bigger, larger umbrella company. People, these are serious people here, supposedly. Supposedly serious people here doing the content, doing beef sector content, basically. Doing beef sector content, like some, because I cover stuff like this, and sometimes I roll my eyes before I cover it. But if it's some information or gems or something I could drop, or put out some perspective on certain ideas and concepts, and just use this as a backdrop, I'll use it. But sometimes I roll my eyes when I gotta cover something like this. I'll never do that type of content where I'm saying, oh yeah, I went and looked on so and so's wife's Instagram. Whenever somebody mentions somebody's wife, I'm done. I check out the conversation. But whenever the conversation gets to, I looked at his wife's Instagram and I saw that there was no pictures of him. It's like whenever the content goes in that direction, I'm like, all right, I'm out. That's why, cause I used to like to break down Derek Jackson videos just for the simping that he was doing. But when it got to the point where, okay, everything is just all just the personal stuff, like, his wife Instagram be going ham. She be having breakdowns on there. And I'm like, people are like, oh, you gonna cover that? You gonna cover that? No, I'm not covering this woman's mental breakdown. It's like, no, I'm not covering that. But either way it go.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
either way it go, these multi-million subs, multi-million sub platforms, millionaires, basically doing beef sector exposed content. Doing beef sector exposed content.
That was my aha moment. Clearly, there was some sort of a separation. Now, this might sound like crazy CIA stuff, woman stuff. It's exactly what happened. I then spoke to Jeremy at the Daily Wire and I said, do you think that him and his wife are potentially separated? And he said, no. Obviously, it's his friend. He would have known whether or not they were separated, except he didn't. He actually had no idea if they were separated either. Finally, we decided in conclusion, Jeremy advised that we just stay out of it, that this is actually not our business, but at least it actually felt good to learn that he was going through something privately because it assigned some reason for something that he did that was so horrific and so irrational to his friends. It finally...
Now, again, remember the veiled threat that she's claiming wasn't a threat because she didn't know that they were going through it. She's trying to say with this statement right here, she didn't know that he was going through a divorce. And this is not what she was talking about. But then she just proved that she did know, and that is what she was talking about.
Has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on.
Frankly, surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Stephen has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. Stephen purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. Maybe if I feel in further defense, something should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
You see the degree in which she just contradicted the shit out of herself.
Reason for something that he did that was so horrific. He didn't. He actually had no idea if they were separated either. Finally, we decided in conclusion, Jeremy advised that we just stay out of it, that this is actually not our business, but at least it actually felt good to learn that he was going through something privately because it assigned some reason for something that he did that was so horrific and so irrational to his friends. And finally, we said, okay, this is a broken man. This is what I was thinking. This is a broken man who is on some sort of a spiral. It is likely his divorce that led to this moment. He's acting erratic. He's acting panicked. And this at least gives us some sort of an excuse for why he behaved this way. That's it. That's the big, scary story. I then went onto my platform and I said, pray for Steven Crowder, honestly, because that's what he needs. He needs a prayer. And apparently nobody's answering those prayers right now because
She didn't just go on this platform and say, on her platform and say, pray for Steven Crowder. She went on there, said, pray for him. And if he don't stop talking shit about the Daily Wire, I'm going to expose some shit. That's what she went on there and did. It's like she's looking right in the camera lying. She's looking right in the camera lying. Said she didn't know, then proved how she knew, but then saying that she didn't make the threat that she just played in this show that she did.
He's still acting erratic. He's now upping the ante and suggesting that I extorted him. I will not take that lightly, okay? I am not Hillary Crowder. I am not anybody in his family. I am not going to take it lightly. Nobody's answering.
What the fuck was that? Did y'all hear that? She said, this extortion thing, I will not take this lightly. I am not Hillary Crowder. Like, what? You see how she's trying to subtly imply that he's doing something, that he does something wrong, abusive to his wife? Like, she's trying to subtly imply that his wife is a doormat and I'm not going to lay here like your wife and just take your abuse. Like, what the hell did that mean? I am not Hillary Crowder. And I don't even know if her name, her name was probably public information. I don't even know. It's even more messed up if her name wasn't public information like that. And she's just putting it out there. That's even more messed up. But she's saying, like, I'm not going to sit here and take this. Who do you think I am, your wife? And there's literally no evidence that his wife is taking anything bad or any type of abuse or anything from Steven Crowder. There's no evidence of that. Again, that's why I said she's going full sisterhood on him. She's trying to make it seem like this man is, without any evidence, trying to make it seem like this man is doing something bad to his wife that we don't know about. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to plant the seed in everybody's head that this is some big, bad man who does something wrong to his wife. And he thinks that I'm going to lay down and take it like his wife. Like, damn.
Those prayers right now because he's still acting erratic. He needs a story. I then went onto my platform and I said, pray for Steven Crowder, honestly, because that's what he needs. He needs a prayer. And apparently nobody's answering those prayers right now because he's still acting erratic. He's now upping the ante and suggesting that I extorted him. I will not take that lightly, okay? I am not Hillary Crowder. I am not anybody in his family. I am not going to take somebody going onto his platform and alleging that I either harassed, threatened, or did anything that would put his children at risk. That is very serious stuff that he is saying. And so what I did this morning after this clip was sent to me is I contacted a defamation lawyer and I am sending Steven Crowder a cease and desist. And I'm going to demand a full-throated retraction to the idea that Candace Owens threatened him or extorted him. And not that I simply did a little math. 1 + 1 = 2. A crazy man doing these sorts of things to his friends obviously means that something is going on personally. Honestly, this time, I'm not even going to suggest that anybody should pray for him. I am so deeply troubled by the idea that he is trying to insert me into this narrative pertaining to his divorce. I'm frankly angry about this. So I'm going to hope that he does the right thing, okay? That he does another one of his live feeds on the exact.
That was a God-level attempt at gaslighting. That was a God-level attempt at gaslighting the situation. It's like, again, like I said, I know a lot of people in this space, particularly people on my channel, you know, it's a lot of conservatives, a lot of black conservatives over here. All right. A lot of black conservatives. We like some of the stuff that Candace Owens says. One thing that's always been consistent is that she's a combative woman. She's a combative woman. It's just that you like it when she's batting for you, when she's batting for your views and ideas, and then you're good with it. But when that same energy gets turned around and flipped around, you can see it. You can see it full blown. He didn't say that she committed criminal extortion. He said, if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, you know the feeling that he has. And based off everything that happened, yeah, he could say he has that feeling of being extorted. He worded it carefully, probably on purpose. But extortion is one example of extortion. Just looking at it right here on good old Google. The crime of extortion is defined to exclude lawful bargaining processes. For example, a union official may threaten to call a strike for higher wages. Either you're going to give us higher wages, or we're going to go on strike. That's an example. That's an example of extortion. That's not criminal extortion. That's not criminal extortion, but that is a form of extortion. That is a form of it. That's, it's a threat. She's caught on candid camera, basically saying she tried to veil it, but she's caught on candid camera, literally saying that, yeah, if I need to do anything else to defend the Daily Wire, I may disclose some information that you don't want out there. Basically, shut up talking stuff about the company that I work for, or I'm going to put your private divorce that you're going through that you don't want out there. I'm going to put it out there if you don't shut up. So he ain't wrong, but she didn't commit any criminal extortion. So he punk if he apologized or retract anything, because he didn't accuse her of committing a criminal act. He just said, if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, you understand the feeling. That's all he said. That's all he said.
Exact same platform and via the exact same medium, and offers me an apology and takes back every single word that he says. And by the way, if you think that that's bad, here's how he decided to end this clip pertaining to his divorce.
What's the name says? Who was that? Cashflow Hustle says, I'm not shedding a tear. No, I'm not saying anybody should shed a tear for Crowder. He says, I'm not shedding a tear for Crowder. He got to put up or shut up with Candace anyway. I don't even know what you mean by that. He got to put up or shut up with Candace anyway. But anyway, this is how he ended the clip about his wife.
It's pretty simple. I loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who, despite all of this, I still love as the mother of my children. And she wanted something else for her life. That's not my choice. She simply wanted out, and the law says that that's how it works. Now, of course, look, I get it. There are multiple sides to every story, but one thing that is undeniable in this case is that it's no one's fault but my own, in that I picked wrong.
Again, lots of manosphere isms and schisms in there. Again, he's pointing out that she wants out, and the law makes it that easy. And the only thing that he did wrong is that he picked wrong. Now, we know where that rhetoric comes from. We know exactly where that rhetoric comes from. We know exactly where that rhetoric comes from. These people be listening to the manosphere. Dark Knight Mentality says, you picked wrong. We're seeing the red pilling of Steven Crowder. Cashflow Hustle saying he should have kept it about his wife and not the Daily Wire. I can understand that to some degree, that he possibly should have just announced that, hey, I'm going through a divorce, or I just went through a divorce, and that's thing, and that's out there, and that's that. I understand it, that he possibly should have just did it that way. However, he did want to put out there that, now that I've put it out there, I am going to let it be known that there are people, that have been threatening me to to not speak my mind about the Daily Wire and their bullshit. Otherwise, they're going to put out my personal information, my personal business. Ain't nothing wrong with him technically doing that. This would be it would be much less drama around his divorce had he done that. Had he done it that way, it would have been less drama around it. And it would just been like, oh, damn, Steven Crowder getting a divorce. That's sad. Oh, but but he, bringing the Daily Wire and Candace Owens into it, that do make it something else. What the hell am I seeing here? What you gonna do about Bernie? What? I don't even know what you're talking about. I saw Bernie. Some people call me Bernie. I was like, thought he was talking. I don't even know what you're talking about. All right. But anyway, that I picked wrong stuff. Yeah. They watching the Manosphere heavy. They watching the Manosphere heavy. RM, drop the link in the chat. Anybody want to come up and have their say on this? Make sure y'all support the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you who support the stream. If there's any super chats I haven't read yet, also put those ones up on the screen. Any super chats I haven't read, all super chats will be read. All super chats will be read by all means. By all means, all super chats will be read. All right, what we got here? Sir Jack Me Off in the building says, PSA, beware of Christian feminists. Absolutely.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember Kevin Samuels used to do a lot of content on that. Kevin Samuels used to do a lot of content on the Christian feminist. Absolutely. Who else we got in here? Sir Jack Me Off says, not me too. She did a Fox News on him. #Dominion. I don't know what you mean by she did a Fox News on him. I do know that, hell, there's a movie called Bombshell that I got to watch where I think a lot of the blonde bombshells that worked at Fox News, said some things. You got to find a movie or documentary or just do some research and some reading. But sometimes, us lazy Americans like to get our information from movies instead of reading. So yeah, so we'll see. But thank you for the super chat.
Another one.
Appreciate that. Who else we got in here? I think Charles Merchant just dropped one. Says, if you marry a modern, I'm looking at it on my tablet, bring it up if you can. Okay. If you marry a modern scatterbrain bish, don't be mad when she suddenly feels trapped by the marriage and wants out, taking the kids and a nice portion of your assets. Yeah. That's the flaw in with modern conservative men. Truth be told, that's the flaw, because a lot of modern conservative men, they do look at things as from a more traditional standpoint. So if you're truly going to be living in your conservatism, what are you going to end up doing? You're going to end up trying to be traditional with the modern woman. And then you say that, oh, no, I'm not going to be traditional with a woman who behaves and conducts herself as a modern woman. But the fact of the matter is, long as the forbidden fruit, long as the, what is, damn, Arm, help me out in the back. The tree of, what do you call the tree in the Garden of Eden? The tree of knowledge. Long as that tree of knowledge is right there, and you could take a bite out of that forbidden fruit. You could just walk over there and take a bite of that forbidden fruit. Long as that tree of knowledge is there, it's a strong possibility that things will go left, because that tree of knowledge is right there. That's like putting the cookies at the edge of the counter and telling little Junior, now, no matter what, don't eat any of those cookies. I'm about to go take a nap. In another room, but you just sit here and just play with your toys on the floor. But it's cookies right here on the counter. Don't eat one of those cookies. You go take a nap, you wake up. Chances are, little Johnny had a cookie. That it just is what it is. That just is what it is. So, yeah. So that's the trick bag that conservative that a modern traditional minded man is in, because he wants to do his duty to God and country. All right, wants to do his duty to God and country and be the head of a family, but he's trying to do that with modern women. Now, in the case of the Brittany Renners of the world, the IG thoughts, the Insta only thoughts, and all of that, yeah, okay, it's obvious. Okay, like we could look at PJ Washington or PJ Walker, I keep forgetting, and we could say, yeah, dude, that was kind of dumb. She wrote a book on finessing niggas, and then you became the nigga she finessed. Okay. She wrote a book on hooking up with professional athletes, talking about how stupid and how easy it would be to finesse them, and then you lined up and got finessed. Okay, that was stupid. But now we're talking about a right wing conservative white man who married the girl next door, who good old goody two shoe. They had a they had a Pleasantville style marriage type of thing. They it's like, what do you do with that? What do you do with that? That apple of the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge is just sitting right there. She took a bite. It's like she's gonna take a bite. And now he's going through divorce. That's the trick bag that we in. Yeah, we pro-family. Family is the cornerstone of American society, and it makes sense and it's better. Young boys grow up and become the men that they need to be when they're raised with two parents in the household, with the father in the home, and blah, 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 blah. It's best for society. It's best for men. It's best for children. It's best for everybody. Everybody's wins. But tree of knowledge sitting right there. All right, Charles Merchant in the building. He says, if you marry modern scatterbrain bitch, don't be mad when she suddenly feels trapped by the marriage and wants out, taking the kids and a nice portion of your assets. Thank you for the $10 super.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want.
All right, let me go to see who we got in the back. Always a treat when we're joined by Game Changer in the building. Always a treat when joined by Game Changer in the building. What's going on? What's up, and what's on your mind? What you got?
Nothing much, Bernard. I'm a little busy, so I can't stay long. But I wanted to say that it seems to me that the conservative party is to white women what the black church was to black women. And that is a hunting ground for traditional minded men. So yeah, it does seem like it's in, I'm not a white guy, nor do I frequent conservative venues with white people. So
right.
I can't really say for sure, but from what I can tell, it does seem like that. It does seem like it's a place where, maybe a modern white woman or maybe a slightly unattractive white woman can put on a suit, can yell Trump 3 times and find herself a high value husband. And he's going to say, oh yeah, she's not like those liberals, and then liberal the hell out of him or conserve all of his shit. Like it does seem as if it's used that way. And it reminds me of the black church way back when, where women would go and they bring their, the children from previous entanglements, let's say, to church. And then they meet the son of a preacher man. And, they sing the hymns and they sing the ha's, between going to the club and busting it open. And then, they find themselves a good Christian man. He's a good Christian man. He's a good Christian man. So it's the same thinking. It's just that white women are a little behind and it's a different venue.
Yeah, no. Well said. And well said. Shout out to Paul Game, said GC is the higher thinking black man. But yeah,
thank you for sure.
Yeah, no, I didn't even look at it like that. It is an interesting concept because women women do stupid stuff, but they ain't exactly stupid. You know, they know where to find them. And yeah, going into conservative spaces that do become, that's probably their hunting ground for those traditional minded men. Now, here's the rub when you're talking about, you're making that comparison with the Black community. The women who try to flock, the Black women that try to flock to those conservative spaces looking for traditional minded men, they're coming in there late in the game, where you have to be you have to have the veils, the shit just completely over your face to not see what's going on there. If they showing up over 40, overweight, with a couple kids by a couple men, you know, you have to, something is very, very blue pill about you if you're not seeing what's going on there. But the white conservative man, he's in a different situation, because she's not showing up over 30 overweight with a couple kids by a couple men, or over 40 overweight with a couple kids by a couple men. She's in some cases showing up without kids and not overweight. and so that in you know, placating to some, you know, traditionalism. That's a you know, like Rick James said, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Like they offering a hell of a drug to a traditional man. I mean, they are.
Well, they're offering a better drug than, you know, kind of like Coke is better than crack. You know, however, it's still very, very damaging to a person. Yes, really what they're offering in most cases is the absence of fat. Nevertheless, it's still temporary, and you know, you will pay a lot more than what it's worth after the fact. You know, because essentially what you're paying for is having it at one time. There was a guy who came to this space temporarily, a white guy who came to this space temporarily just to talk crap, and he was conservative. His name was David something. Him and his wife was interviewed on Crystal and Kerosene, and you know, they were talking crap about Kevin Samuels, and you know, and basically,
yeah, I remember that dude.
Yeah, you remember that dude? Yeah. So, well, he married a single mother, and his wife, who was featured on the thing, was a single mother when he married her. Had a bunch of kids with her, and you know, so he actually fell for that. You know, like people do put their guards down in certain situations. Men do. And women, now Black women are trying to look for these situations. They're saying stuff like, oh no, I'm not like that because I'm educated, or I'm not like that because I had two parents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, they're doing that. They're trying to hide behind something in order to get a Black man to put his guard down, as if a woman who's the daughter of two of an intact family can't be a ratchet bitch. You know, they try to hide that. They're trying to hide behind the goodly image of better women. They're all pretending to be pygmies now. Now, the thing about white women is that they're willing to work harder in their pretense, and you know, absence of fat, and you know, they're willing to go to the clinic and stuff like that. But nevertheless, Keisha is not much different than the Girls Gone Wild chick.
Yeah, well, oh no, that's true. There's Girls Gone Wild chick, and I say that all the time when, you know, talking about the white Black dynamic and dating. I understand to get the passport thing, because again, we're talking about a completely different culture over there, so it's probably something different over there. But we're the chicks that pull up on Fresh and Fit, from a pathology standpoint, if you just listen to how they think, they don't think that much different. But there is, you know, when you say they're showing up with less fat, there's also a statistical probability difference in they're showing up without kids, you know, at a lower percentage rate too. So again,
yeah,
and they're probably showing up younger. They're probably showing up younger too.
Well, they're used to a higher quality of life, white women, than Black women by a long shot, and that's because of course, both parties' history in this country. White people just simply have more money, and even a white girl who grows up poor expects to have more money because she's white, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So that being the case, they are not going to do the whole welfare hustle. However much money a person get, the Section 8 apartment and stuff like that isn't as appealing to a white woman as it is to a young black girl who's just trying to get out of her mama house. So it is a difference there.
All right. Now
You're looking at your screen. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm looking at my screen. Okay, because like sometimes I just like go, just do like just a little check. Rod of God in the building. What's up going on? What's going on? Ain't seen you through here in a minute. Oh no, I was looking at my screen. And this is completely off subject, but we are talking about women, and this is just one of the things that women do on the internet. There's a lot of people who do, they a lot of guys who shoot. They show themselves at the gun range. They got whole gun shows where they talk about guns and they talk about gun rights and gun this and gun that, and they show themselves shooting some pretty, some high caliber guns. Okay.
Mhm.
So it just popped up on my feed of, because, women do it too, just like men did manosphere content. And of course, women showed up and they did manosphere content. So there's a video that just popped up on my timeline of a woman doing, some shooting with a high caliber gun. And yeah, that's the thumbnail that just popped up. And so it's just a picture of a woman just shooting at a target. Nothing extra going on there, nothing extra in particular, no extra, like she's advertising, people who like to learn about guns. And that's it. And so yeah, women.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of that, Bernard. We're going to see a lot of, if you haven't already, you're going to, women doing that in male spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just their way of trying to either get your attention or seduce a man, because men are becoming a lot more skittish. They're becoming a lot more, let's just say, cautious. They don't want to get Tyrese. I mean, and naturally so. This has been going on for over 40 years now. So naturally, men are going to be protective. They're not going to marry a chick, because he likes, because she as quickly anymore. And quite frankly, and I notice this also, especially with younger men, they're simply just off the market. So women are going to do more and go more places where men frequent. And also, I'm gonna be honest, like, because this is obviously fake. This is obviously fake. Oh, and black women, understand this.
Her ass, or the gun, or the gun safety techniques that she's teaching was fake.
No. Her ass is fake.
Okay.
You could tell by the you see where the ass at the top portion, which is the ups, it's doesn't really slant as a muscle would, and it jiggled on top of the pelvic bone in an unnatural fashion. So yeah, it's definitely faked. So what happened here is you have a woman who later in life decided that she wants the attention that she received when she was younger, and feels that this is the best way to get it, which is a fake ass and possible fake tits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, venturing into a place where men frequent.
And
so, but yeah, they
observation-
definitely
hold on, wait,
look for
another
opportunities. Yeah, you
quick
see how she's gesturing
observation.
to her titties. Yeah. So, they definitely look for opportunities to show off what they paid for. So to speak.
Another observation: whenever guys do these gun YouTube, they start YouTubing, they at their shooting range or they're shooting a target, they always show the target afterwards. Notice she suspiciously did not show the target, that she didn't show any evidence that she hit any damn thing. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for her to show what the target looked like, so I could see if she just got the bullets just in the general vicinity of the target, just somewhere. No, we didn't even get to see if she hit anything. That's what I was waiting on.
It's an obvious ploy for attention. Like when girls were doing that ice bucket challenge, and and they like, oh, it's all in my titties. It's that type of attention. I mean, I don't know if everybody is seeing it now, but I'm not saying I see it a lot, but I am starting to see it a lot more. And I'm even starting to see it, oddly enough, in nerd spaces. So I find that interesting too. But yeah, it's everywhere. Get used to it. Me, okay. Well, here's the thing, and this is about BBL and just in general, just black women ass in general. And this is something that annoys me. And I was talking to a female cousin of mine about this, and we both agree. Um, and you probably disagree with me on this because we like different body types.
Yeah, that the old BBL girl can get it. Yeah, and you probably looking at that like, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not my type. But what I'm saying, just general, a woman's ass.
Mm-hmm.
The glute is the largest muscle on the human body. However, on black women, it's not a muscle. It's fat. It's a bunch of fat. And it's not supposed to it's supposed to be round and big, but it's also supposed to be toned. And what happens is a lot of black women, they get these fat asses, which means that the fat is going to their ass before it gets to the rest of their body. That's what we call thick.
Mm-hmm.
But really it's just pre-fat. It's really just she is anywhere between 2 months and 2 years from being obese as fuck. And we think it's a good thing but that ass though, you see, here's the thing, and this goes back to twerking. A bitch should not see, they say white girls can't twerk because their ass don't wobble as much as the black girls. But guess what? It's not supposed to wobble, Bernard. It's not supposed to wobble. It's supposed to be muscle. It's supposed to be muscle. It's not supposed to wiggle like the under part, like Lizzo's tricep. Nope. It's supposed to be firm. It's supposed to be firm. So when you bite it, it's like biting a steak with little fat in it.
Uh-oh. She said if Kelly Stamps got a BBL, GC would go into depression.
Kelly Stamps don't have an ass at all.
I know, but if she were to go and purchase one, that would greatly disappoint
she
you.
wouldn't be Kelly. Listen, Kelly Stamps is not my first crush. Remember, the van girl was my first crush. Janelle that lives in her van. She was my first YouTube crush. And yes, you can be dismissed over stupid crap.
Mm-hmm.
You can be
real quick.
Crap.
Hood Conservative. I did see that you were in. Apologies, we were on at the same time. I was setting up my show, and I saw you come on, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I try not to be on at the same time as certain people, but I had to go live when I had to go live. So, but anyway, you was covering the same thing, and you covered the whole Candace Owens, Steven Crowder thing. So, if you're available, I am interested in your take on it. I am interested in your take on it. So yeah, definitely hit the link if you're available. I do want to see what your thoughts are on that, but go ahead.
What
GC.
is it about black men and thinking Kelly Stamps is gonna swirl? What is it with y'all?
What happened?
You ever notice how I think that brothers is timid, Wayman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're timid. I think that deep down, and this is how the women think. This is how black women think about me. And possibly you. They think that they're not worthy of Kelly Stamps. They think that the plurality of black men is not worthy of Kelly Stamps, therefore she must swirl. Listen, there is a possibility that she'll swirl. I mean, they are 66% of the American population, and if she dates openly, then there's a 66% chance that she'll get with one of them. That's not necessarily swirling, that's just playing the odds. If she reach in a bag of dicks, then there's a 66% chance that she'll pull out a white one. But that doesn't mean anything. Y'all timid. Y'all don't shoot y'all shot at the Kelly Stamps of the world. Y'all don't. Yeah. Y'all think that the Lisa Turtles and the Ashley Banks are just out of your league, so you just stay in your lane and then come here to bitch about the lane because the lane is full of Keishas. Well, guess what? They're open yourself up to better, and by better I mean tone her ass. Now, somebody else said something, and they said I like a little wobble. I like a little wobble too, but understand that it's an expiration date. It's an expiration date. You see, because the fat is in the ass, it's going to go to other parts of the body. And guess what? She's not working out. That's why her ass wobbles. She's not hitting a treadmill and the cardio and the weights is just hitting every portion of her body but her ass. Nope. It's about to hit the stomach. So you get with those temporary. You pump and dump before the expiration date, like milk. That is what you do. But understand that it is a precursor to fat to come.
All right, and a lot of brothers have made their peace with the big wobbly ass and the fupa that comes with it. But anyway, hood service. Let's get back on the topic. What was your general take on the Candace Owens Steven Crowder thing? I say she went full sisterhood on him with the veiled threats and then make it seem like she didn't make a threat and then admitted the threat and then threw in there randomly that he sent her a text message complimenting her that ain't had nothing to do with nothing. It was some lightweight diet Me Too in there a little bit. Like it was weird. It was weird. What's your overall take on that? Oh damn, are you there? Mic check on Hood.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
No, I was actually I noticed you kind of went a little deeper into it than I did because I covered a lot of stuff on my show, so it wasn't just a Candace thing.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really get as specific as you did, but my general take was roughly the same as yours. Like I like Candace. I'm not, a Candace hater, and I'm not necessarily going to use this moment to go off on some, anti-Candace rant from now on. But yeah, this is bad. Look, this whole thing is kind of dirty to me because it's like you got beef with Crowder professionally, right? Because you got there's like a camp drama because he was supposed to get down with Daily Wire, I think, and Candace is a part of the Daily Wire crew, and that's like Ben Shapiro and a bunch of other guys. I forget the name, Matt Walsh and them, but that whole thing had it was drama behind that. So her and Crowder been at each other's throats basically behind that for a little while, and then now Crowder kind of is going through a divorce, and apparently she's like trying to invite his wife up onto the show in the middle of his divorce. I didn't even make
it to that part.
Dude, hold on. I have that
clip
somewhere. No, I think I have that clip.
No, that actually, hold on. Just to get full context, real quick. I'll play it. Cause no, I was right at that part. And I just stopped it short because I wanted to. It was getting late in the show, so I did want to take the time to put the link up. But hold on. It's like I got like a minute left in Candace Owens' presentation. So let me finish playing that real quick so the audience gets some context. Because I forgot she even got more sisterhood.
I picked wrong. Wow, how kind.
She criticizing him from using some manosphere lingo when he said the only thing that went wrong is I picked wrong. But anyway.
Loving. Right. You must have loved this woman, Steven Crowder. Again, I don't know who's buying your act anymore. I certainly haven't bought it from the very beginning. It's very obvious to me exactly what you are. You come across to me as a very dishonest individual. It seems to me, Steven, that you really, for whatever reason, want to insert me into this narrative. Like there is just something about me that you are hyper-focused on. And so I want to help you a bit. And really, I want to help your wife because you essentially just used your platform. Millions of people have access to your platform. She doesn't have the same to insult her. You picked the wrong woman. Okay. So here's what I would like to do.
Hold on. Nah. See, I hate this bitch. I hate you.
You didn't insult her.
Yo, you see, a second ago where she was like, "I just want to use this to help your wife." My hatred was starting to rise up when she said "help your wife" because I'm like, bro, the man going through a divorce. Everybody knows the woman don't need no more help in that situation. So why you want to help his wife, right? Already, I'm kind of against you, just on some brotherhood shit. Like, nah, that's the man he's like, she fucking his life up right now. He still loves his wife, right? That's what I took from that clip when he was explaining his divorce, because I played the Steven Crowder part when he was announcing his divorce and he was talking about it, and it was just obvious. And he got to a certain point where he was kind of said it out loud. He said it plain, and it's like, look, the man still loves his wife. She wanted a divorce. He don't. This shit's fucked up. You don't want your world ripped apart, but now it got to be ripped apart, and you're supposed to take it like a goddamn champ. Like, it's hard. It's hard to take it like a champ. And now she wants to help the wife. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Now, it's fair to point out also that she's getting warts on her face. warts on her face. If you look closely, next time they do a close up, she's getting warts like on her right cheek. You could see one there, and I think you could see one right above the nasophobic patch on her left side. I do think that she's turning into a witch, which is very interesting considering that she's black. Okay, so just so you know, when white
This black
women,
witch.
yeah, well, no, black witches exist, but they take on a different physical appearance. They take on the physical appearance of, say, Medea or something like that. They go through a different metamorphosis. No, it's not a mole; it's a wart. These are warts. Moles are black, like Morgan Freeman, Jackie. These are warts. She's getting warts, which means that she is turning into a witch, like many women do, but she's turning into a white witch, which is very interesting in physical appearance. Look closely when they do a close up, or you could go back a little bit. Those are warts. You see that?
That just acne.
Bernard, I think that's a wart.
All right. Perhaps.
What if it gets a little bit bigger every year? Then you'll know.
That's how witches happen. Like when you see these Karen bitches, they have a bunch of warts and shit. That's not a coincidence.
Every white man she takes down, it grows just a little bit more.
All right, let's roll it to the end real quick.
You picked the wrong woman. Okay. So here's what I would like to do. I would like to invite Hillary Crowder onto my platform because she doesn't have one. And because her ex-husband apparently just used his to insult her, say that he picked the wrong woman. I find that to be really despicable. So Hillary Crowder, if you are watching, you are more than welcome to come on my show and to talk about what's actually going on. Because as I said, I don't trust a single word that comes out of Stephen's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. So
Yeah. Like that was another level of ridiculous right there.
And that's why the warts are growing. Like yeah.
That was a level of petty I had not expected from Candace. Like, yeah, she definitely reminded me she black. I just had she gave me my nigga wake up call.
Yeah, all day. Real quick, Sir Jack Me Off in the building says Kelly Sam seems like an interracial dater, not a swirler. Interracial daters do so organically. With swirlers, it's forced. Yes, I broke down the delineation between that. There's the person who just coincidentally met somebody of a different race and they hit it off and they still together. Then there's the swirler who's ideologically interracial dating. Then there's the divester who gets off watching videos of police shooting black men. It's like those. So it's levels to the stuff. Kelly Stamps probably does just fall into somebody. She seems like somebody who I would say got her all options on the table, and
I agree.
Statistically may end up with the white man, but I don't think there's no evidence that she's some ideological interracial dater like a swirler. So
it's not a preference.
But it is something to that, to where, and no disrespect to Ed, I defend Ed because a lot of people come at him on some nonsense. But I remember one time when you had put up a video of Kelly Stamps, I forgot what she did. She just did something real dainty, and then Ed said it seemed like she date white men, and I was like, oh, like come on, like it's something in us when we see a black girl acting. I don't know if it's accurate to say too feminine, or just really, really soft, dainty, and just I don't know. It's like we don't think we're supposed to have that. It's a weird thing.
Well, I mean, it's and this is somewhat a shot at Ed. It's a fear of white competition. You let the white man punk you. You see Kelly Stamps, and you say to yourself that white men want her too. Because let's keep it real, Keisha, if you're listening, you're the leftovers. You're the one that no other body want. So you take what you take what you can get. You're the leftovers. But Kelly is a whole different thing. White men want her, which means you got to compete with whiteness in order to win Kelly Stamps. And Ed don't like it. And Wayman don't like it because they fear that competition. They fear that pink penis. They fear the thought that they have to out-white whiteness in order to win Kelly Stamps. So they just say, oh, she just like white girls. Now, I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna flip this over to those chicks that come at me with that shit, right? Who come at me and say shit like, oh, you seem like you only date white girls. No, I have a particular type, and Kelly Stamps can get it. And just because I don't date you, you fat bitch, that don't mean that that I only date white girls. It means that I date toned women, toned women with biteable asses. That is what I like. That is my pleasure. You got to compete with whiteness, and you don't want to, so you just say I have a preference, or or I just like this. Nope. Learn how to. I've been competing with whites and Asians my whole damn life.
All right. So damn it, I hate that I got to close it early today, but I only can do roughly a 2-hour show today because I do got to get the hell up out of here. But here's the deal. Shit. Is there any other super? If it's another super chat, put it up. But I don't know, Hood. Did we land the plane on with any final closing thoughts to say on your girl Candace Owens before we get up out of here?
Oh yeah, we pretty much wrapped it up. Candace is that's the first time I say she really kind of fucked up. But this is petty personal shit. It'll blow over.
Oh yeah, it'll blow over. Ain't nothing gonna happen to her career, but it's like, yeah, that was fucked up though. But so me off in the building, he says, "Beware the rise of the." Okay, I don't think that's gonna happen. We're not gonna see Muslim feminists. And Sir Jack me off in here again. He says Kelly Stamps seems like okay. I already read that one. We already talked about that one. But thank you for the super chat. Real quick, game changer. Go ahead. You got the last words, GC.
Okay, so somebody in the chat room was saying, the black women I tend to like, white men tend to like as well. Exactly. That's because you have taste and standards. You see, see, a lot of black women are chitlins. They're goddamn chitlins. They're the part of the pig that the white man didn't want. They're the leftover crap. They're the foot, they're the snout, and all the other nasty shit that people get used to eating, and they call it food. That is what you go for. That is what you stick your penis in. And that's because you're afraid. What's the good part of a pig? I don't eat it.
Whatever part that turns into bacon.
That and the rib. The bacon and the rib is pretty much it. And then, I'm anti-pork outside of ribs and bacon.
Okay, so y'all afraid to go for the ribs and bacon. Y'all afraid. Y'all think that chitlins is what you deserve.
Saying you anti-pork other than ribs and bacon. That's like saying you're anti-McDonald's other than the quarter pounders and the Big Macs. It's like that's what the fuck we eat pigs for, the damn bacon and the ribs. What the hell? You eat pork, nigga. Like, don't say you anti-pork.
No, I don't eat pork. I just eat ribs and bacon.
Come on. All right. I'm sorry, I cut you off, game changer. Go
ahead. Yeah, no worries. But my point is, fellas, just be your best self, and don't be afraid. Like I said before on Bernard's Monday, Wednesday, Friday nighttime show, I said before, don't be afraid to out Asians. You can do everything they can do with a bigger dick. You can. So do it. And don't worry that you miss out on Keisha. Fuck Keisha. Go for Kelly. Why? Because Keisha's vagina is temporary. The fat that's in her ass will soon reach her thighs and her belly. And then you stuck with chitlins for the rest of your damn life. Don't do that to yourself, fellas. That's it.
All right. We's about to get the hell up out of here. Thank you, everybody, for coming on in. Oswald123 sent a super chat right at the buzzer. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate you dropping 20 on it right as I was making my way up out of here. But we got to go. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who liked, shared, subscribed, super chat, Cash App, did anything to support the stream in any way, shape, or form. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.